Oops. Raise hands ako. Wait lang. Okay. So, hello. Nakikita naman yung screen ko. Nakalagay is other types of graphs. Tama ba? Okay. So, start tayo. Again, good morning everyone. We'll be discussing the part 3 nung ating topic regarding frequency distributions and graphs. Okay? So, previously, open ko lang yun. Okay? So, previously, ang diniscuss natin is more on the histograms, frequency polygons, and ogives. No? Meron din tayo dito somewhat mga graphs na ginagamit. Okay? Yung mga graphs tayong ginagamit dito. Say for example, itong histogram. Okay? Then we have also the frequency polygon. Okay? The frequency polygon natin. And also we have the ogive. Okay, ito. Tulad nito, ito yung isang klase ng ogive, the frequency polygon, and the histogram. So these are mostly the three, sabihin natin parang pinaka-basic na, na way of relaying or visualizing the data we've gathered. And also kapag gumagamit tayo ng frequency or we are calculating the frequency distribution. Okay? So now we are now going to proceed on the other types of graphs. Okay? May iba't iba pa tayong ways to visualize our data. Again, why do we need to do a visualization of our data, or why do we need to present our data using a graph? Okay? So we need to use or we need to visualize our data using a graph kasi mas madali siyang makita. Mas madali natin makita yung trends, yung patterns, ano ba yung mas extreme na values, ano ba yung mas extreme na lower values. Okay? So, may interpret natin na maayos yung ating mga data using a graph. And somewhat, no, not all people that can read your data are capable of reading that data. Okay? Kaya kailangan natin ipakita using a graph. Okay? So say for example, no, gumawa tayo ng trend. Okay, gumawa tayo ng trend or ng pattern for our compressive strength ng isang concrete, no? Ito yung in terms of yung strength natin. Then ito in terms of megapascal. Wala akong pen ngayon eh. Okay? In terms of megapascal, ito in terms of the sabihin natin width, yung W nung yung width ng ating concrete beam. So, say for example, ang trend pattern natin is ng compressive strength is pa ganon. Yan. Okay? So, with the use of graph, and later we will be discussing some other graphs na pwede natin gamitin. Pwede natin ngayon, pwede tayo gumawa ng prediction kung saan papunta yung next na dimension natin or yung next width natin. Say for example, this is 100 mm, ito ay 200 mm, 300 mm, 400 mm, 500 mm, and so on. Kailan ngayon possible tumaas, bumagsak, or mag-retain yung ating compressive strength? Okay? May mga ganung graphs tayong ginagamit, no? We can predict, okay? We can forecast our data, okay? Anong gagamitin nating graphs, no? So later on we'll be discussing that. So ito yung iba't natin i-discuss today. So we have the bar graph, the Pareto chart, time series graph, pie graph, and the dot plot. Okay? Then meron mamaya stem and leaf plot. Okay? Itong bar graph, mostly, no, lagi natin ito nakikita. Very familiar tayo dito sa bar graph. Okay? Pagdating naman sa Pareto chart, as you can see, parang bar graph lang din siya. No? Bar graph lang din siya, but this is a stepping pababa. It's either pababa or pataas. Ito time series graph, later on we'll be discussing this one na paano ba natin ginagawa ang time series graph and para saan ba siya ginagamit. Ito rin, palasak din to, no? We have the pie graph, which is usually it denotes the percentage distribution nung ating mga categories. Then we have also the dot plot. Itong dot plot, we are never been too familiar in dot plot. Okay? Okay, let's proceed. So first we have the bar graph. Okay, when we say bar graph, so a bar graph represents the data by using vertical or horizontal bars whose heights or lengths represent the frequencies of the data and the categories or classes. Okay? Ito lang ang lagi natin tatandaan in bar graph. Since medyo ano naman na tayo, familiar tayo sa bar graph, no? Kayang-kaya natin gawin yung bar graph. There are just two variables na kailangan yung i-identify para sa bar graph. One is the frequency distribution or the frequencies of the data. And number two is the category of the data. Okay? So therefore, you need to rearrange yung data natin by category. Say for example, itong sa screen natin ngayon. So how people get to work. So paano daw nakakapunta ng trabaho yung mga tao. So they have been categorizing the data by the ways kung paano makapunta ng work yung mga tao. So by auto, or private vehicle, by bus, by trolley, by train, and by walk. Okay? And then, once na nakategorize na natin yan, we need now to count, okay? We need now to count the frequency, gaano ba kadaming tao ang gumagamit ng auto, ng bus, ng trolley, ng train, tsaka ng by walking. Okay? Again, ang kailangan nyo lang dyan is the category and the frequencies. Okay? So for an example, so we are given here a table that shows the average money spent by first-year college students. We need now to draw a horizontal and vertical bar graph for the data. So in bar graph, we can draw either horizontal or vertical. Okay? Wala naman sinabi na rule kung bakit horizontal ang gagamitin, vertical ang gagamitin. Because they have also the same principle, the same concept na ang kailangan mo lang is the category and also the frequencies. Okay? So ito yung table na binigay sa atin, the average money spent by first-year college students. We have the electronics, the dorm decor, the clothing, and the shoes. So here are the total money spent per category. Okay? Step-by-step procedure. Step 1, we need to draw and label the X and Y axis. For the horizontal bar graph, place the frequency scale on the x-axis. Okay, paki-take note, no? Pag horizontal bar graph, okay, change color. Yeah. Pag horizontal bar graph, we need to place the frequency on the x-axis. Kapag naman vertical bar graph, yung frequency scale natin ay nasa y-axis. Okay? As an example, ito yung first step natin. We need to draw and label the x and y axis. Yung frequency scale natin ngayon is located at the x-axis. Okay, therefore, ang i-build natin ngayon dito is the horizontal bar graph. Okay? So, next step, we need now to plot a bar, no? Horizontally, since ang frequency scale natin ay nasa x-axis. So, therefore, horizontal yung magiging bar natin. Okay? Scale ko dito na ginamit is in terms of $100. So, $100, $200, $300, $800. So, in scaling, wala naman general rule. Basta, you can deliver or relay the message of our data using the graph. Okay? Ito, 728. So, as much as possible, in between siya nung $700 and yung midpoint nung 700 and 800. So, nandito sa banda. Ito sa banda. Diyan banda. Okay? Next, we have the dorm decor for 344. Almost in between ng $300 and $400. We have the clothing, 141, and the shoes as 72. Okay. So this is for horizontal bar graph. Now, for an vertical bar graph, yung frequency scale daw natin must be located at the y-axis. Ito, y-axis natin. So therefore, kung nasa y-axis siya, diyan natin ipa-plot ngayon vertically yung mga bar natin. Okay? So this is a bar graph and yung kanina is a horizontal bar graph. Okay? Again, this is vertical bar graph. Also, when we say bar graph, we can compare two or more categories or two or more groups. So that's what we call the compound bar graphs. Okay? Kapag may comparison tayo ng two or more groups, ang tinatawag natin dyan is the compound bar graphs. For example, binigyan tayo dito ng census of males and females that are never married by the year of 1960 to 2010. And this is now the data visualization. As you can see, yung legend natin dito na purple, which is for men, and yung green natin is for women. Okay? Ang frequency natin dito, the frequency scale is in terms of fives. Okay? This is the number of male and female in terms of millions. Okay? Ibig sabihin, ito yun. Okay? Then, ang category natin is by year, 1960, 1980, 2000, 2010. And we also have groupings sa loob ng ating categories, which is male and female. Okay? Now, pag nakita tayo ng ganito, understood na natin ito na compound bar graphs. And we can compare or conclude something inside this bar graph, no? Since the data shown here is the number of men and women that are never been married, never married adults by 1960 to 2010, as you can see, mas marami ang number of male that are never married adults from the years 1960 to 2010. Okay? And also, we can conclude na mas marami ang kinakasal na babae in between 1960s to 2010. Ay, ganun ang comparison natin. We can also compare that in the year 2010, okay, by the year of 2010, male adults are increasing, hindi sila nagpapakasal, no, or they are never married adults by the year 2010 compared to sa mga female. Okay? Dito rin, makakabuo rin tayo dito ng trends. Okay yan? Trends. Ano trend natin dito? So as you can see, increasing yung number of male na never married adults. At kapag dumating tayo by year 2020, okay, assuming year 2020, we can now therefore assume na ang trend natin is pataas. Okay? Tataas yan by 2020. Okay? Again, forecast, prediction, may possibility na hindi mangyari, may possibility din na mangyari. Okay? So that is bar graph. Okay? Any questions before I proceed? Kung may questions kayo, pwede naman sa chat box or pwede kayo mag-raise ng hand. Okay, I can see no questions raising. Okay. No hands are raising, so proceed ako. Okay, next, the Pareto chart. Pareto chart are mostly related sa bar graph. It is also used to represent frequency distributions for a categorical variable. Okay, di-discuss natin yung frequency distribution or the categorical frequency distribution and the group frequency distribution. Okay. Pwede natin gamitin din ang Pareto chart. Okay? The frequencies are displayed by the heights of vertical bars which are arranged. Okay? Arranged in order from highest to lowest. This is the key point in Pareto chart. Ito yung nagiging comparison, okay, or the distinct factor in between the Pareto chart and the bar graph. In Pareto chart, you need to arrange the data in order from highest to lowest. That's why, pag makikita nyo itong data natin dito of the Pareto chart, makikita nyo na para siyang ladder pababa. Okay, pababa ito. Okay, as an example, we have here the data shown consisting of the number of police calls for specific categories that a local municipality received in 2011. Now, draw and analyze the Pareto chart for the data. Okay, we have here the category. The category to, we have 5 categories. You have the juvenile complaint, loud noise, drug offenses, DUI, and disabled vehicle. Okay, and here are the number of calls done by year 2011. Okay, step-by-step procedure. For step 1, sabi nga, Pareto chart, kailangan natin i-rearrange in order from highest to lowest. So step 1, arrange the data from the largest to smallest according to frequency. Okay? So therefore, yung juvenile complaint natin since 92 siya largest, so mauuna siya. Then we have the drug offenses from number 3 magiging number 2. The disabled vehicle from number 5 magiging number 3. DUI nag-retain, and yung loud noise from number 2 naging number 5. Okay? Just simply rearrange the data from largest to smallest according to the frequency. After that, we can now proceed na same step ng bar graph. Draw and label the X and Y axis, then draw the bars corresponding to the frequencies. Okay? Ito yung frequency natin. Ito ngayon yung category natin o yung groups natin. Okay? And then, we need to plot yung frequencies natin according to the scale. So, this is for the juvenile complaints. This is for the drug offenses, disabled vehicle, DUI, and loud noise. Okay? To check kung tama yung drawing nyo ng Pareto chart, the Pareto chart must be from largest to highest. Kaya pababa siya. Yung trend niya naman is pababa. Okay? Okay. So here are some suggestions in drawing the Pareto charts. So first, we need to make the bars the same width. Hindi pwede na mas malaki yung sa auto compared sa bus. Okay? Kailangan pare-parehas sila ng width. Next, arrange the data from largest to smallest according to the frequency. Then lastly, we make the units that are used for the frequency equal in sizes. Okay, say for example, ang data na binigay sa inyo is measurements. So may nagbigay sa inyo ng meters, mm, may nagbigay sa inyo ng kilometers. So you need first to come up into one unit. Okay? Say for example, in terms of meters. So convert everything in terms of meters. Hindi pwede na ipa-plot mo si meters, ipa-plot mo si centimeters, ipa-plot mo si kilometers. Okay? So kailangan ma-accustom tayo na isa lang ang gagamitin na unit. Okay? So that is for the Pareto chart. Any question? Questions and clarifications? Okay, kung walang question, let's proceed. Okay, time series graph. Okay, ito. Time series graph, saan natin siya madalas makita, no? Sa one, in weather forecasting. And number two is in financial marketing, sa stock markets. Okay? Ito po yung ginagamit nila for prediction and forecasting the number of sales, the number of stocks, ano pa, the trends in the market, and also the trends in the weather conditions. Okay, ito yung mga ginagamit ng mga scientists to predict and forecast. Okay, a time series graph is a line graph that shows the data such as measurements, the sales, or the frequencies over time. They can be used to show a pattern or trend in the data and are useful for making predictions about the future, such as weather forecasting or financial growth. Okay? The key term for the time series graph is itong forecasting. Okay? Predictions and forecasting. In predictions and forecasting, syempre kailangan natin ng historical data. Okay? Kaya sa time series graph, ang pinaka-crucial dyan na data na dapat mo makuha if you want to predict or find the trends for that pattern is the historical data or the previous data. Say for example, you want to predict the you want to predict kung kailan puputok ang Bulkan Taal. Okay? So you need first to identify or to figure out ano yung naging former or previous data na available sa pagputok ng Bulkan Taal. Okay? Say for example, the year, yung date kung kailan pumutok at ano yung temperature during that time. Okay, kailangan mo yung historical data before we can predict what will happen in the year 2024, 2025, 2020, 2028 or 2030. Okay? So yun yung mga kailangan natin for the time series graph. Okay? Say for example, uh, in this temperature over a 9-hour period, ang given sa atin is the time at ang given natin is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So from 12 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yan din yung temperature over time. As you can see by the trend, mas mataas ang temperature the by the 5th hour, no? Or yung 5 a.m. Tumaas, nag-peak yung temperature natin by 5 a.m. And after nag-peak siya ng by 5 a.m., as you can see, bumababa na siya by 9 a.m. Okay? And then, from that 9 a.m., we can now therefore conclude or forecast na it's either magdire-diretso pababa yung temperature natin by 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 noon, or 1 p.m. Or, ay, drawing ko, sige. It's either bumaba, pag ganyan, or tumaas naman siya. Ang taas niya is, say for example, ganyan, bababa siya konti, then tataas na naman siya. Okay? So, there's a possibility na ganyan naman na mangyari na uh, predictions natin for the temperature over a 9-hour period. Okay? How about here? In the time series plot of trade, ang binigay sa atin is the number of months and the trades. Okay? Ito yung number of months. So as you can see, by the 12th month or in every 12th month, 12, 24, 36, 48, and then 60, as you can see, nandoon yung pinaka-peak natin. Okay? Doon mas mataas ang trade by the 12th month of the year, which is very true, no? Tumataas ang trades natin pagdating ng December. And then, once na tumaas yung trade natin, number of trades natin, pagdating natin ng first month or opening of the year or the first quarter of the following year, as you can see, it will now subside. Okay? Babagsak na yun siya. Sa lahat yan. So therefore, we can now assume or we can now forecast or predict na sa mga susunod na taon after the 60th month, ito yung 60th month, since part siya ng 12th month pattern, possible bumagsak siya. Okay? Bumagsak siya drastically, then aakyat siya ng aakyat as the time or as the 12th month of the following year arrives. Then babagsak ulit siya. Okay? So ganyan po natin babasahin ang time series plot. It's all about the patterns, it's all about the trends na available. Okay? Ang maganda sa time series graph, nakikita natin kung ano yung peak and also the lowest point. Okay? So very crucial yan sa mga traders natin, no? Alam nila kung malalaman nila dito base sa trend na to kung kailan magte-trade, kailan naman yung magse-sell sila. Okay? Yun. So that's time series graph. Now, for an example, so we have now given here a data that shows the percentage of US adults who smoke. Draw and analyze a time series graph for the data. So this is in terms of years. Then we have the percentage natin. So step 1, we need to draw and label the X and Y axis and label the X axis for years and the Y axis for the percentage. Okay. In short, yung X axis natin dito will be the categories. Yung Y axis natin will be the frequency scale. Okay. So as your step 1, kailangan daw natin gumawa ng time series graph or time series chart, no? So we have here the number of years, and we have here the frequency scale in terms of 5, no? So 5 hanggang 40. Okay? Kailangan yung scale din natin dito is equal. Kung 5 to, therefore 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Kung 2 ang nilagay nyo, or ang scale nyo is in terms of 2, so therefore 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Kung 10, 10, 20, 30. Okay? So, okay. So, we need now to plot yung ating percentage, no? So, itatapat lang natin yung point natin sa 1970 and then we need now to find 37 dito sa ating frequency scale. So, mangyayari dito sa banda, no? Kailangan katapat po yung dot na to netong 1970. And then we have also 1980 for 33, 1990, year 2000, and year 2010. And our last step, we need now to connect the dots. Okay? We need now to connect all points. Then, so we can now have our trend. And take note that in time series graph, bawal yung 1970 ka dito, tapos ang frequency mo dito is 37. Okay? So for example, ito ay 37 to. Okay? Ilalagay mo dito yung 37, then 33, then 25, 23, 19. Okay? Magkakaroon kayo doon ng linear trend. Okay? In which na hindi natin pwedeng, hindi reliable yung linear trend, yung pababa lang mismo, straight line lang siya ang mabubuo nyo. Okay? Kaya ang much advisable pagdating sa time series graph, naka-scale yung frequency scale natin. Okay? 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay? Kung in terms of 3 yan, 3, 6, 9, 12, naka-scale dapat. Kasi ayaw natin yung linear trends. Kasi simple, pababa lang yun. Okay? Eh dito, sa ganito example, no, makikita natin na by year 1970 to 1980, linear yung pagbagsak niya, and year 2000 to 2010, linear din yung pagbagsak ng ating percentage. Pero by year 1919, drastically bumagsak. Okay? Bumagsak ng todo yung ating percentage of US adult smokers. So, by year 1990, it's either meron nangyari, merong panukala na nilabas ang US government, kaya bumagsak ang trend pagdating ng year 1990. Okay? So, that's how we conduct an analysis using time series graph. And also, just like bar graph, we can compare two or more data sets. So this is called the compound time series graph. So we are given here the elderly in the US labor force. So for both men and women. Okay, as you can see, mas mas marami ang nagsa-sign up sa US labor force compared sa na male compared sa female. Okay, by the year 1960s. And also, kumakaunti or bumagsak sa 1980 and then drastically umaangat ulit yung number of male na nasa labor force, nasa US labor force. Whereas sa women, continuous yung pag-angat niya. Okay, yung number of women in the US labor force. At the span of time, if we want to predict this one, possible na si women magdire-diretso lang sila pataas. Okay? Pero si male, since meron siyang pattern or former or historical trend na bumagsak siya, possible na bumagsak din in the long run. Okay? Then babagsak ulit siya. Magpapalit ngayon yung male and female. Okay? Again, this is a forecast, this is a prediction. This is not 100% 100% na mangyayari na it will happen. There's always a probability of chances na mangyari itong portion na to. Yung pagbagsak sa US labor force ng male and yung pag-angat ng women for the US labor force. Okay? Now, question for the time series graph. Questions? Wala. Nagla-lunch sa ba iba dyan? Okay, so wala naman, continue natin. So, next is pie graph. Okay? So, ito, kilala natin yan. Gumagawa tayo sa mga reports natin, no? So, a pie graph is a circle that is divided into sections or wedges according to the percentage of frequencies in which category of the distribution. Okay? So, if we want to show the distributions or the percentage distribution, mas maganda pie graph na lang ang gamitin. Kasi mas visually accurate siya kasi pinapakita natin, say for example, ito, 50%. Ibig sabihin, kalahati siya ng circle. No? Mas malaki ang portion niya compared sa other categories. Okay? So that is the pie graph. Now, usually, sa mga data natin, hindi naman in terms of percentage ang binibigay sa atin. Ang binibigay sa atin is in terms of the data that is available to us. Say, for example, in this example. So, given tayo na frequency distribution that shows the number of pounds of each snack food eaten during the Super Bowl. No? Ito yung pounds. Ito yung snack. You have here 5 snacks, the potato chips, tortilla chips, pretzels, the popcorn, and the snack nuts. Now, how do we now construct a pie graph? Hindi naman to, sir, in terms of percentage. So, wala kaming idea, wala po kaming idea kung paano namin to i-indicate sa isang pie graph. Ang pie graph po meron lang ang pie graph sabi natin circle siya. Pag circle po siya, siyempre po siya, almost 360 degrees. So now, how do we construct in a scaled manner? Ibig sabihin, i-scale nyo pa rin. Hindi pwede yung tansya-tansya lang. Okay? Lalo-lalo sa exams nyo and sa other activities nyo. No? Hindi pwedeng tansyahin nyo na, ito lang. Ito yung 50%. Okay? So, step-by-step procedure pa rin tayo. So, since there are 360 degrees in a circle, the frequency for each class must be converted to a proportional part of the circle. Ang sabi, proportional part of the circle. Sabihin, kailangan kung ang conversion natin dito is in terms of degrees, kailangan ang total natin is 360 degrees or approximately 360 degrees. Now, to convert itong pounds natin, to convert these pounds into degrees, we have this formula. F over N multiplied by 360, wherein yung F natin is the frequency distribution as per the certain category all over the total number of frequencies. So kung hindi given itong total, i-total nyo. Okay? Then multiply it by 360 para ma-distribute natin siya in a circle. Now, let's compute. For the potato chips, so that is 11.2, which is our frequency distribution, divided by 30, which is the total number of frequencies, times 360 degrees. So this is equal to 134 degrees. For the tortilla, we have 8.2 all over 30, multiplied by 360 is equal to 98 degrees. Then for the pretzels, we have 4.3 over 30 times 360 is equal to 52 degrees. Then popcorn, 3.8 over 30 times 360 is 46. Then we have the snack nuts, 2.5 over 30 times 360 is 30 degrees. Kailangan pag tinotal natin to, so this must be approximately 360 degrees. Sir, hindi siya magsarado ng 360 degrees, nagiging 359.99 degrees, nagiging 359.92 degrees, okay? So basta approximately or near sa 360 degrees will be acceptable. Ang nangyayari lang doon is the rounding of error. For the step 2, na-convert na natin siya into frequency, into degrees. We need now to convert it in terms of percentage. With the formula, percent is equal to F over N times 100%. Okay? Ito ngayon yung value na i-indicate natin, i-input natin sa ating wedges. Compute natin. 11.2 over 30 times 100, we have 37.3. Tortilla is 27.3. Pretzels, 14.3. Popcorn, 12.7. Snack nuts, 8.3. Okay? Kapag tinotal nyo to, okay, ang sagot dyan is 99.9%. Okay? So, because of rounding of error, possible hindi nyo makuha yung perfect na 100%. Pero as much as possible, approximately 100%. 99.8, pwede pa yun. 99.98, pwede. 99.91. As long as you are near the 100% goods na yan. Okay? Now, step 3. So, kaya natin kinuha yung degrees. We are going to use a protractor and a compass. Again, pag nagdo-drawing tayo ng pie graph, kahit sa exam natin or sa kahit anong problem set natin, this must be always scale. Okay? Using a protractor and a compass, draw the graph using the appropriate degree found in step 1. Step 1 natin is yung degrees natin ito. And label each section with the name of the percentage. Ito yung label naman natin ng wedges na. Okay? Yung sections natin. Again, hindi siya nag-total ng 99.9%. Okay? So if we use a protractor and draw it by scale, ito ang itsura ngayon ng ating pie graph or pie chart. Okay? So, pati yung decimal, ilagay nyo ha. Hindi ko lang na-indicate dito. Ito, 37.3%, 27.3, 14.3, 12.7, and 8.2. Okay? Any questions? So that is for pie graph. Questions? Questions, clarifications? Tulog na ba? Okay. So please hit the thumbs up na kung kung nandiyan pa kayo. Yun, nandiyan pa sila. All right. Okay. Thank you for that one. So let's proceed. Okay, proceed tayo. Okay, eto next plot natin or next graph natin is not very familiar sa ating lahat, no? So this is the dot plot. So a dot plot is a statistical graph in which each data value is plotted as a point above the horizontal axis. Now, dot plots are used to show how the data values are distributed and to see if there are any extremely high or low data values. Okay? So, simple lang din naman i-drawing to dot plot, no? Ang scale mo dito is equal din. Okay? Or, sorry, equal din siya. Equal to 1. Okay? This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. In short, lahat ng frequencies in your data must be included or indicated dito sa ating scale. Okay? Now, ano yung use ni dot plots? This dot plot or this statistical graph na dot plot is used to show the extremely high or low data values. Okay? Nung first day natin, nabanggit ko about sa outliers, no? That is also very useful sa paghahanap ng outliers. Okay? Say for example, ano ba ibig sabihin ng outliers? Those are the data na too extreme to be included in our statistical analysis. Say for example, in this number of named tropical storms each year, pagdating natin dito, pwede natin i-disregard na yung 25, 26, yung number 28, okay, yung 28 data value. Okay? This is too much or this is too extreme kasi malayo na yung distance niya from the previous data sets. Na? And we can also do a comparative analysis using a dot plot. Makikita nyo dito, may group methods tayo dito. May by group tayo, by control and by education. Magkaiba ang data ni control, magkaiba ang data ni education. Okay? Pero the scale is also different. No? You can manage the scale, no? Manage nyo lang yung scale. Pag minimal lang naman, pwede na by 1. Pero pag hindi, you need to manage or to scale up yung ano nyo, yung frequencies nyo. Okay? So, yung nasa taas natin is control, the other one is education. Usually, kapag dot plot, at nagkaroon kayo ng compound dot plot, nasa itaas yung first group, nasa ibaba yung second group. Kung may third group ka, pwede nyo ulit ilagay pababa. Okay? Now, how do we do a dot plot? Given tayo dito ng data that shows the number of storms each year for the last 40 years. Construct and analyze that plot for the data. So these are your data. Okay? Your first step is to find the lowest data and then the highest data values. Okay? By then, we can now decide what scale to use on the horizontal axis. Okay? So, ang lowest data natin is itong 4. Ang highest data natin is yung 28. Itong 28 na to. So, we can now draw a horizontal line and draw the scale of the line. Dito, ang ginawa natin is in terms of ones, no? So, itong lowest data natin, ang data natin, so therefore, ito yung 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, hanggang makapunta tayo sa 28. Okay? 25, 26, 27, 28. Pero since in terms of 5 yung groupings ko, tinuloy ko na siya sa 30. Okay? So for visualization purposes, tinuloy ko siya sa 30. Okay? Again, ang lowest data natin is 4. Ang highest data natin is 28. Ito, 28. So for our next step, we need to plot each data value above the line. If the value occurs more than once, plot the other points above the first point. Okay? So plot down natin. Say for example, ito 19. Pag nakita nyo ito 19, cross out nyo, lagay nyo dito. Okay, 19. Yeah, 19. Then we have 15 dito. Then we have 14, 7. Yung 7 natin. We have 6. We have 11. Then we have another 11. Ang sabi, sa step natin, if the value occurs more than once, plot the other point above the first point. Since 11, may plot na tayo dito. Yung kasunod na 11, ipaplata natin dito. Okay, si taas niya. Ito 9. Okay. So, if we complete this one, ito yung magiging itsura niya. Okay? So, kasi patong-patong yung mga points natin, no? Since meron siyang duplicity or may duplication siya, nagpatong-patong yung mga points natin. Okay? Now, to conclude that plot, so in this graph, it shows that majority of the named storms occur with frequency between 6 and 16 per year. Yung 6 natin, at yung 16. Ibig sabihin, nandito daw yung occurrence ng maraming storms. Okay? Per year, yeah, per year. So there are only 3 years when there were 19 or more named storms per year. 19. So that will 19 or more. So that will be ito 19, 1, 2, and itong 23. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So that is for the dot plot. Okay? Any questions? Clarifications? So kung walang question, just hit the heart button. Pasuyo na lang. Yes. Napindot lang. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So proceed tayo. So after ng dot plot, we have the stem and leaf plots. Ito din, di rin to familiar sa atin, the stem and leaf plots. So the stem and leaf plot is a method of organizing data and is a combination of sorting and graphing. Ang main point dito na stem and leaf plot is sorting. Okay? If you want to sort, okay lang to. Gamitin. Okay? Stem and leaf plot, para di siyang group frequency distribution. Okay? Pero mas advantageous siya since yung data is always available. Okay? Pero kapag kinonekta natin to, yung dulo-dulo niya, yung trends niya, yan. Para lang din siyang group frequency distribution. Okay? Para ka lang din diyang gumawa ng frequency polygon. Okay? Now, ang tawag natin dito is a stem and leaf plot. may stem, may leaf. Okay? May stem and may leaf. Yung stem natin dito, paki-take note, the stem here is the leading numbers. Yung leaf dito is the trailing numbers. When we say leading numbers, okay? Pag sabi leading numbers, ito yung mga first digit. Okay? Ito naman yung succeeding digits. So kung babasahin natin yung nasa group 2, ang frequency niya is 27, 27 or 27 and then 27. Okay, sa group 10 naman, this will be 10 and 2. So that will be 102, 104, 108, and 109. Sa group 12 naman, we have 122 and 125. As you can see, sa stem, yung first digits niya ang nakalagay. Okay? Sa leaf, ito naman yung mga kasunod. And take note, pagdating sa leaf, ang numbers lang po na pwede natin diyang ilagay is 0 to 9. Again, 0 to 9, bawal yung 10, 11, 12. Okay? 0 to 9 lang. So that is for the stem and leaf plot. Okay? Ito din, stem and leaf plot. We can also use stem and leaf plot in comparison of two groups. Again, two groups lang, okay? Stem and leaf plot din. Ang tawag dito is the back-to-back stem and leaf plot. Okay, we have the 1967 to 1968 season at the first group, at the second group. So, in stem and leaf plot, dito sa trailing digits, dapat in order din siya. Increasing order. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Okay? Pwedeng 0. Okay? How do we conclude this back-to-back stem and leaf plot? So, this is the number of place by the season, okay? In terms of 1967, 1968, and 07 and 08. By 07 to 08 season, meron daw nangyari na 76 games. And then, hindi po ito 70 in between 1967 and 1968. Hindi siya 70. Okay? Null po yan. Ibig sabihin, walang nangyaring laro in between 67 to 68. Pag bakante, it means voided or null. Walang laman. Okay? So therefore, walang laro dito sa 67 to 68. Sa 07 to 08, meron tayong 84 games. Pagdating ng 67, 68, wala tayong game na nangyari. In group 10, noong 2007, 2008, we have 101, 101, 101, 103, 103, 104, 104, 108. Okay? I think these are scores pala, no? So 101, 101, 101. Okay, meron daw tatlong games na nakascore na 101. Then we have 2 games na nakascore na 103 and 2 games na nakascore na 104. Okay? Pagdating naman sa 67 to 68 season, this is 100. Hindi null to ha, hindi na to naging null. This is 100, this is 105, and this is 109. Again, pag blanco, that is null or wala. Okay? Pero you need to include pa din yung mismong stem natin, in digits natin. Say for example, no, burahin ko tong part na to. Hindi, wag yan pala. 11. Okay. So tuloy-tuloy pa din yung yung stem natin, yung leading numbers natin. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Hindi, wag yung gagawin na ta-transition agad kayo sa 12. Okay, yung 12 mapupunta dito. Wag. Kailangan dire-diretso pa rin siya. 2, hanggang 10, 11, then 12. Okay? Yun lang, kung walang data yung 110, okay, itong 100 tens natin, 11, pag walang data yan, leave it as blank. Wala kayong ilalagay dyan na 0. Pag nilagay niyo 0 yan, ang basa na dyan is 110. Okay? Eh, walang 110 sa data. So, i-blanko nyo na lang. Okay? So, that is stem and leaf plots. So, as an example, you have here an insurance company. Researcher conducted a survey on the number of car thefts in a large city for a period of 30 days last summer. Ito yung raw data natin. Ang sabi, mag-construct na tayo ng stem and leaf plot using the classes 50 to 54, 55 to 59, 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, and 75 to 79. Okay? Binigyan tayo ng class group na. So, hindi na ngayon tayo gagawa ng sariling sa sarili nating class group. Kasi usually, pag hindi ka binigyan ng class group, ang nilalagay na lang natin dito is the first digit of the given datas. Okay? Pero dito, binigyan ka ng class group, ito ngayon ang susundin natin. Yung first digit ng mga class groups natin. Okay? First, we need to rearrange the data in order. Again, in order dapat. So, ang lowest natin is 50, ang highest natin is 79. Then, rearrange. So, next step is we need to separate the data according to the classes. Since binigyan ka ng classes, eto ngayon na susundin natin. Okay? These are the classes. And then, hanapin nyo dito yung in between 50 to 54. Kasama yung 50 and 54. So, that will be 50, 51 hanggang dito, hanggang sa 53. Then, 55 to 59. Itong 55 hanggang dito sa 59. 60 to 64. So, since walang 60, start tayo sa 62 hanggang 63. And so on. Okay? So, once we have now separated our data, according to the classes, we can now generate the stem and leaf plot. Okay. Yung sa stem natin, again, sa stem natin is the leading digits. Kung kanina is increasing or continuous leading digits based dun sa data natin. Dito, based sa classes natin. Okay? Since in between 50 to 54, ang binigay is, ang leading digit ay 5. So, 5. 55 to 59, ang leading digit ay 5, parehas. 60-64 is 6, 65-69 is 6, 70-74 is 7, 75-79 is 7. And then, nung sineparate natin yung ating data, according to classes, yung trailing digits na ngayon ang ilalagay natin sa leaf. So that will be 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, and 2, and 3, and so on. Now, when you analyze a stem and a stem and leaf plot, we need to look for the peaks and the gaps. See if the distribution is symmetric or skewed. Okay, later on sa normal distribution and standard distribution, we are going to discuss the symmetric and skewness. We need to also to analyze the variability of our data by looking at the spread. Okay, if the data is very broad, makikita natin mas malaki yung sakop niya, mas madami yung ating classes compared kapag narrow, minimal lang yung ating classes. Okay? So how do we conclude, no? Ang peak natin dito is in the when we analyze that, the peaks are in between 65 to 69. And also, ang next natin is 55. Ito, yung 55 to 59. So, we can now therefore say na there have been a number of car thefts for the last 30 days of summer. Number of car thefts is in between 55 to 69. Okay? So, yan yung number of car thefts during the 30 days of summer. Okay? So, that is stem and leaf plot. So, single lang to, stem and leaf plot. What if comparative naman tayo? Okay? Same lang din ang process. Okay. Same lang din magiging process natin. But this time, dalawa yung ating leaf. Okay? Pero isa lang ang ating stem. So first, we need to arrange the data in order. Rearranging Atlanta. That ang pinaka-lowest natin is 26. Ang highest natin is 70. So again, this data is the number of story. Okay, number of stories in two selected sample of tall buildings in Atlanta and Philadelphia. Okay, construct tayo ng back-to-back stem and leaf plot. For Philadelphia, ang pinaka-lowest natin is 25, ang highest is 61. Walang binigay sa atin na classes dito. Okay? Therefore, we need to construct a stem and leaf plot using the same digits as our stem. Kung ano yung leading digits natin dito sa Atlanta and Philadelphia, yun ang gagamitin natin. Ang possible way na pwede nating or ang tip na pwede ko may bigay sa inyo is find the lowest value between the two datas. Ito, 26 and 25. Then find the highest value, 70 and 61. Now, compare. Sa lowest value, ano yung lowest leading digit? Kung makikita nyo, pares lang silang line of 2. So, 2 ang magiging first stem natin, lowest stem natin. Then, compare the highest values. No? Compare the highest values. You have 70 and 61. Compare now the leading digits. Yung leading digits natin, ang pinakamataas ay 70. Therefore, ang gagamitin natin is 70. Okay? Now, we need now to place the digits for the leaves for Atlanta on the left side and the leaves for the Philadelphia on the right side. So, wala namang ano dito, wala namang ruling kung sino yung nasa kaliwa, kung sino yung nasa kanan. Okay? As long as ma-convey mo yung data, yung ma-convey mo yung information, okay lang. Kung nasa kaliwa si Philadelphia, walang problema. Kung nasa kanan si Atlanta, okay lang. Okay? So, same digit, trailing digits tayo, leading digits. Ang stem natin will be from 2 hanggang 7. Okay? From 2 hanggang 7. From the lowest values, comparative stem, and the highest values of the comparative stem. So, 2 hanggang 7. Okay? And then, input natin ngayon dito yung mga datas from Atlanta and Philadelphia. So, that will be 26, 28, 29. Ito yun. Then, we have 25. So, then, we have 31, 32, 32, 32, 32, 32, 34, 34, 36, and 38. So, from 31 hanggang 38. Ito ay 30 hanggang 39. So, from 30, okay, from 30 hanggang 39. Okay? Ito naman yung 31 hanggang 38. Next, sa line of 4 tayo. Sa line of 4, sa Atlanta, from 40 hanggang from 40 hanggang 47, ito yun. 40, 40, 44, 44, 47. Then, para naman sa Philadelphia, that is 40 all throughout. Okay, lahat 40. Then lastly, hindi pa pala. So, sa 5 natin, sa 50s natin, that will be sa Atlanta from 50 hanggang 55. Sa Philadelphia naman from 50 hanggang 58. Okay, again, in order dapat siya. Then, sa 60s naman natin, sa 60s natin, we have sa Atlanta, 60 to 63. Sa Philadelphia is 71. Then, pagdating naman natin sa 70s natin, si Atlanta may 70, si Philadelphia, wala. Okay? So, wala tayong ilalagay kasi wala eh. Okay, blanco yan. Blanco yan. Once na construct na natin yung stem and leaf plot, we can now compare the distributions. So as you can see, that the buildings in Atlanta have a large variation in the number of stories per building. Okay? Si Atlanta daw ang maraming options for the number of stories. Okay? Kasi na-occupy niya lahat ng stems from 2 hanggang 7. Okay? So although both distributions are peaked at 30s to 39, so dito, around dito, nag-peak siya. Philadelphia has more buildings in class 30 to 39. Okay? And also Atlanta has more buildings that have 40, ito, 40 or more stories than Philadelphia. Ilang stories ba tong sa Atlanta? 40 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Meron daw 14 categories of stories from 40s to 7 to 40 or more stories sa Atlanta. Sa Philadelphia naman, we have 4, 8, we have 9. Okay, we have 9 frequencies, no? So that is now the graphing techniques or methods for our statistical data. Okay? Any questions before going further? Questions, clarifications? So kung walang questions, please hit the like button again. Like button. Pag may nag-heart, ano yun, nakatulog yun. Okay. So kung wala ng questions, so that ends our discussion. Okay, yes, Renz. May question ka ba? Hello? I think, okay. Baka napindot lang. Okay, so that ends our discussion for frequency distributions and graphs. So I'll be later on magsasend yung assessment exam assessment exam nyo para dito. That will be the part 3 ng assessment exam nyo for frequency distributions and the graphs. Ganun ulit, send nyo ulit, 1 week pa rin ang deadline. For our pointers, for the midterm next week, Saturday din, pinost ko naman na yun, yung pointers to review. And then, pinost ko na yung pointers to review natin. Please review. I-send ko yung PowerPoint presentation na to. And please, no, huwag niyong ikakalat kahit sa ano, lalo yung i-upload sa script, no. Alam ko yung mga diskarte ganyan. Just to get the credit, no. Domain name ko naman siya, no, kaya walang problema. Pero please lang, no. Yun, pointers has been given hanggang dito. Frequency distributions and graphs ang magiging midterm exam nyo. That will be, yung midterm exam will be 100 points, no? Meron din tayo dong identifications. So mostly, mga definition of terms pala, sorry. Definition of terms. Multiple choice naman, so don't worry. More instructions will be given on the day of the exam. So dalawang section kayo, section A and section B ang magkakasama. Okay? So I'll be using 2 rooms para diyan. So yan. And also wait lang Ayan. And also, kung meron kayong kulang ng mga assessment exam, please approach me. Chat nyo na agad ako dito sa MS Teams. Para maayos natin. Because by the, sa health break, no, mag-check na kasi ako ng lahat ng mga activities, quizzes, and all examinations para makapag-send ako ng initial grades, no, for the midterm grades for math entry. Okay. Yun. Any questions ba muna kung about sa schedule natin? Again, ang schedule natin Sabado. Sir, when pa sa reviewer. So within this week, no? Chat ko na lang siguro si Chris Bert kung kailan. Most probably by Wednesday. Okay, give me hanggang Thursday para maibigay yung quiz nyo. November 14. Wala kasi ang pasok ng November 13. So yun, baka November 14. Or kung kakayanin ko ng November 12, ibibigay ko yun. Okay? So, kung gagamitin niyo as reviewer, I suggest, no, maghanap din kayo ng ibang ways or ibang references for reviewing, no? Para ma-practice niyo din yung permutations, combinations, fundamental counting principles, probability, and yeah. Pero mostly, no, ang ginawa ko sa exam, parang tinanggal ko na si fundamental counting principles since natatackle na rin naman siya in permutations and combinations and probability. So, yun, sinama ko na doon para malesen yung loads natin. And then, yun, quiz. Okay. Okay. So, but after ng midterm exam, of course, magkakaroon daw kayo dito ng sem break. Tama ba? Confirm, correct me if I'm wrong. Ang sem break is November 18, 19, 20. Tama? Tama ba? Okay, so tama daw. Thank you. 18, 19, 20. So, syempre, hindi kayo tatamaan. Pero, bibigay ko na rin yung 23 as parang sem break niya na rin. Yung week na yun kasi gusto ko magpa-health break talaga. 18 to 23. Okay? So, sige, bigay ko na yung 23 para sa inyo. Mag-health break kayo na 23 sa subject natin. Okay? So, magre-resume tayo. Yung 30 pala walang pasok. Pero magbibigay ako within the week of 25 to 30 nung magiging discussion dapat ng November 30. Okay, pakiaral na lang yon. May assessment exam pa din. Okay, i-discuss ko sa Section A na November 25, i-record ko. Then, para ma-review nyo, mapanood nyo ng last week of November. Again, assessment exam pa rin. Okay? Para ano yun. Parang minove ko lang yung November 23, ginawa kong health break natin. Kasi for sure yan yung ibang instructors nyo, baka lang naman. Hindi ako sure. Yung 21, 22, baka ano na, i-health break na rin. Then 23, syempre, health break ko na rin para sa inyo. Bawi na lang ako by last week of November. Though wala tayong pasok ng 30, magbibigay ako ng recording naman para sa inyo. And also assessment exam. Okay lang ba yun sa inyo? Okay lang ba yun? Baka kasi mahuli kayo ng discussion. Wala nag-thumbs up, so hindi okay. Pero okay sa akin. Okay. Kaya okay pa din. Ay, may nag-chat. Ay, wala pala. Ay, may nag-chat. Okay. Questions and clarifications before I proceed? Stop recording na ako.